Because, I mean, think about it, at the end of the day, someone's coming to you for something that they want, but they struggle with something, and they need a plan in order to transform. That's what you are. You should be a transformational agency for e-commerce, right? I mean, you wouldn't say that, but at the end of the day, whenever you're thinking of anything, that's what you're doing. Because you're getting someone from point A to point B, and you're building that bridge that overcomes their challenges, which are the lack of knowledge. So one of the biggest things I see agencies not doing is communicating the plan and communicating a very simple plan to their prospects in order to really kind of eliminate their competition. Like literally, agencies try to make their plan just so complex, and they try to overwhelm them because they think, you know, if I can make if I can use big words, if I can use things that maybe the prospect doesn't know, then I can charge more. And that actually hurts you, where if you make it easily understandable and you make the client understand and you educate them, they'll actually go with you over your competition. And I just had a conversation with one of my clients about this, and I think the conversation will help you communicate your plan to your prospects so you win more business, so you can beat your competition, so you don't have to worry about what you're charging and you attract the right people. So the plan is one of the most important things, right? So think about why people work out with a trainer. Like they can go into a gym. Like think about, like, especially with the new year, right? Everybody has a New Year's resolution to, you know, eat more or to get in better shape, right? And so they all join a gym. But what happens when they walk in the gym? They see all this equipment and they don't know what to do, right? They're overwhelmed because they have all these options and they have a lack of a plan. That's why people work out with a trainer, so they can show them the plan. It's the same reason why people engage with your agency and your business, is they have a lack of knowledge. They're so overwhelmed with all the technology. Now we need to figure out going, well, we have a plan. We have a plan in order to get you to sell more. And we certainly understand what you're struggling through, but here's the proven plan that we've walked 20,000 people through, or 1,000 people through, or 10 people through, or this is the plan that we walked X, Y, and Z that everybody would know. And plans could be like your methodology, right? So like, I think looking at your website, you had like discovery, design, develop, deploy, support, that kind of stuff. That could be a plan, but you want to make it your own. You don't want it to look like everybody else. Like if you can break it down to a 12-year-old and they can understand it, then you got it. But if they don't get it, right? It's the same thing out. Like the more complicated you make things, like if you start, like everybody always tries to make the plan really complicated, and they think the more buzzwords that they throw out that people don't understand, they think it's worth more. Right? But all they're doing is confusing that person, making that person feel inferior, and no one wants to feel inferior, right? No one wants to hang out with that person that, yeah, embarrassed and that kind of stuff. So you just need to break it down into really layman's terms that anybody can figure it out. And so when you start positioning a plan that people understand, like for example, when we were doing heavy web design, right? I would break down a plan of what most people do. And I would say like, most people are going to design websites asking you, which other websites do you like? And here's the red flag of why you should not do that. That's why all of your competition looks the same, because they're unoriginal. They can't extract out the true difference between your business and communicate that in a visual representation. What we do is we walk you through this proven process, and we've even had psychiatrists go through it in order to make sure we're extracting out what you can't really tell us, because everybody knows what they want once they see it, but they can't communicate it. And this is our proven process, right? So I would demonstrate the plan. So then what that does is they totally understand what needs to happen. And even if they chat with anybody else, they're constantly comparing them to us. And that's what we want in the plan. Because, I mean, think about it, at the end of the day, someone's coming to you for something that they want, but they struggle with something, and they need a plan in order to transform. That's what you are. You should be a transformational agency for e-commerce, right? I mean, you wouldn't say that, but at the end of the day, whenever you're thinking of anything, that's what you're doing. Because you're getting someone from point A to point B, and you're building that bridge that overcomes their challenges, which are the lack of knowledge. And then throughout that, you're just sprinkling a little bit of authority. You're telling them, hey, I understand. That's how we came up with this plan. And so you're sprinkling that stuff in. Now you start positioning yourself as the choice rather than a choice. All right, so what I want you to do now is start really defining your plan and making sure it's easy to understand and everybody on your team understands it. And a good test is if you have younger kids, go to them, walk them through the plan. And if they don't understand it, then it might not be well defined enough. I love the quote, I think from Einstein, I'll probably butcher it, is if you cannot fully explain it to anybody outside of your realm, you don't understand it enough. So I want you to think about that and think about how can you demonstrate a plan in order to show people how you can transform them from point A to what they want to become. And if you can do that, you're going to win. So I'd love to hear your comments, and hopefully you guys are subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss out on any of this advice that could potentially help you out in the future. And until next time, have a swank day.